Let's talk about linear equations, and along with that we'll be discussing the ideas of parallel and perpendicular lines and a few other topics here. So first things first, let's talk a little bit about what it means for two lines to be parallel. And if two lines are parallel, they're never going to intersect, which means that their slopes are equal. Okay, and then perpendicular lines, on the other hand, will intersect at a 90-degree angle and their slopes have two qualities. They are opposites and reciprocals. For example, 2/3, -3/2 would be opposite reciprocals. 4, -1/4 would be opposite reciprocals. Both of those must be true. So let's start this problem here. Given 2 points, point A, -211, and point B, 6, -5, complete the following problems. This is modeled very similarly to a question that you'll have on the test. Find the slope of AB. So we have an equation for slope from way back in our Algebra 1 days, and that will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So if we subtract the y values, divide that by the difference of the x values, we'll have our slope. So -5 minus 11 over 6 minus -2 gives us -16 over 8, which is a slope of -2. Part B, find the equation of the line parallel to AB and passes through the point 100, 0. So parallel lines have same slope, so the slope will be -2, and I have a coordinate 100, 0. Therefore, point slope form of a line. So point slope form of a line is y minus y1, which equals m times x minus x1, would be the preferred form to write this equation because we have a point and a slope. So if I write the equation of this line in point slope form, I'll have y minus 0 equals slope -2 times x minus 100. Now I could solve that for y if I wanted to, which in this case y minus 0 is just 0, or I could let it how it is in point slope form. Next we have the equation of a line perpendicular to AB. So perpendicular slope will be the opposite of -2, which is +2, and the reciprocal of -2, which is 1/2. So the slope here will be 1/2, and the point that we know is -1, -3. Again, I'm going to use point slope form. Y minus -3 equals the slope of 1/2 times x minus -1. And I would want to simplify this because I don't want to subtract negatives. So the simplified version here would be y plus 3 equals 1/2 of x plus 1. And again, you could solve for y if you wanted to, or you could leave it in point slope form. Finally, we have the equation of the perpendicular bisector of AB. So bisector means it cuts it in half. So we would need to find the midpoint of AB. So the midpoint would be the average of the x and y values. So if we take -2 plus 6 divided by 2, and if we have 11 plus -5 divided by 2, we will get the midpoint of AB. So -2 and 6 is 4, divided by 2 is 2, and 11 and -5 is 6, divided by 2 is 3. So the midpoint is 2, 3, and we're writing an equation perpendicular to that. We already determined the slope of that is 1/2, and we will use this midpoint as our coordinate. So if we have line AB, this line would not only intersect at a 90, but it would also cut AB in half. That's the goal. So I'll again use point slope form. Y minus 3 equals 1/2 times x minus 2. So like I've been saying, you could solve that for y and get 1/2 x minus 2 plus 3, which looks a lot like graphing form. Okay, we have a vertical stretch, a horizontal shift, and a vertical shift. We never did that for linears, but it is possible. You could also distribute the half if you would like to, and write this in slope-intercept form, which would be 1/2 x, and then -1 and 3 makes 2, plus 2. All right, but any of those would be good options.